Hello folks, well, DJ here again. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe because it doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't even cost you a cent. It's not even a rupee. It's free of charge. So please press that subscribe button, please. And also, if you like this post, then say you like it and don't forget to comment. Your comments are very important to me. I try to reply to as many as possible. So please, and what I'm going to talk to you about is a video has emerged of the Defense Secretary saying nuclear veterans, the scandal shames us as a country. Now this story is taken from a story by Susie Boniface. So thank you, Susie, and this is not all my own work. I own up. Okay, the video has emerged showing Defense Secretary John Healey saying Britain's continued mistreatment of nuclear veterans shames us as a country. Filmed 3 years ago while Labour was in opposition, it's now resurfaced after revelation that Mr Healey's promised review into radiation experiments involving UK troops has no budget, no staffing or deadline. In the footage then, Shadow Defence Secretary Mr Healey, who now is the Defence Secretary, told the audience of Labour Party members, if we are the only atomic test country with no recognition and no compensation reward scheme for those veterans who were put at risk, suffered damage and whose relatives suffered loss and damage as a result, then that shames us. That shames us as a country, and we have to fix it. Now that was 3 years ago when he wasn't in power, but now he is, and he's been in power, as you know, for a few months now, hasn't he? He went on, there's no good reason, there's no good moral reason, there's no good military reason for withholding the recognition and compensation that other countries have had. Yet 10 months into Labour's power, so 10 months into Labour coming into power, there's no compensation scheme, no recognition beyond the commemorative medal, which was authorised by the Conservatives, and there is no explanation of how Parliament heard last week about a leaked letter from the government to veterans' lawyers which admitted for the first time that scientists may have carried out, we know they did, biological monitoring of the troops without medical supervision. The video was recorded before the medal was announced. Want to get this right? The video was recorded before the medal was announced and before the Daily Mirror published the first evidence of the nuked blood scandal, which was found evidence that troops had their blood and uranium monitored for radiation during the weapons trials, with results later found to be missing from their medical records. Oh, convenient. They can't get compensation because lots of the evidence has been omitted from their medical records. Cover up? Anybody? Shortly before Mr Healey's speech, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer had also given his full backing to the veterans, writing in the Mirror in August 2022, it's appalling that Britain's nuclear test veterans and their families have not yet had justice after years of maltreatment, and I'm saddened that their long campaign is exceeding the life of so many of them. But what have you done since you've been in power for 10 months, Sir Keir Starmer? Well, he called on the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson to deliver the medal and added, the country owes a huge debt of honour to these veterans. The Prime Minister must act to deliver the appreciation, respect and justice they deserve, and Labour will continue to support their campaign in every step of the way until we get into power. Then we won't, it seems. That bit's I added that. Starmer didn't say that, obviously. Despite expressing his gratitude to the veterans after becoming Prime Minister, Prime Minister Starmer has made no public comment on the blood tests, on the programme, and a thorough review of the archives promised by Parliament by Mr Healey has been given no budget with which to find answers. Isn't that surprising? Not really. Not really. All mouth when in opposition, then when they have the power to do so. Peter Stefanovic, lawyer and CEO of the Campaign for Social Justice, unearthed the video of Mr. Healey speaking at an event for the Labour Party conference in Liverpool in 2022. His campaign video regularly chalked up millions of views on social media and provoked public outrage. Again, provoked public outrage to when? Well, until they got into power, and then nothing. He said if the state was conducting medical tests upon servicemen and not informing them when they found serious irregularities, that is at the very least misconduct in public office, and more serious, perhaps gross negligence, manslaughter in respect of people who have died. So he's accused. So when he was opposition, Mr. Healey said it's manslaughter, and then it's all gone quiet. Now he's in power again. He added, this is no way for the government to treat national heroes. This country owes them and their families a huge debt of honour and gratitude, but instead successive governments have stonewalled them and subjected them to decades of maltreatment and injustice. And now I will. He didn't say that. I did. Labour made their position quite clear in opposition, but now in government there's still no compensation scheme in sight, and no money has been made available for the thorough review promised by Mr. Healey and Mr. Starmer. Let's show these national heroes they're not alone. Let's show them by standing shoulder to shoulder with them and by honouring the enormous sacrifice they've made for this country. Veteran families have reacted with fury to the video, which they had hoped was guarantee Labour would not betray them. False hopes, I'm afraid, false hopes. Janet Burton, whose husband Eric was among the thousands of troops ordered to take part in the 24 US bomb tests at Christmas Island in 1962, said, You tell us anything to get our vote. None of them keep their word and promises. They should hang their heads in shame. Colin Duncan, who was part of the 543 squadron, has been denied the medal after sampling the mushroom clouds of French and Chinese tests in the Pacific in the 70s. He said, They're all the same. It's the people in the background who are stopping this going ahead. Show yourselves, or you have no shame at all. Look at what you are doing and have done. You should have been taken to court years ago by Health and Safety and then charged with manslaughter, to say the least. Nuclear veterans have accused Labour of yet another cover-up over the nuked blood scandal after an admission that no money has been set aside to investigate it. The Ministry of Defence announced an internal inquiry last year into allegations that servicemen, civilians and indigenous people were unwittingly exposed to radiation and monitored for their health effects by scientists. They didn't know, they weren't told. Defense Secretary John Healey has promised a thorough review of the Mirror's evidence about medical monitoring programme a day after the BBC documentary highlighted the scandal. He's now, all these years after saying there was going to be one, now he's saying there will be one, but only when the Daily Mirror exposed it. And the BBC documentary continued that exposure. 6 months on, Veterans Minister Al Carnes has admitted no money has been made available for any reviews. He said, while there is no ring-fenced budget associated with this exercise, I've directed teams across the Ministry of Defence and Atomic Weapons Establishment to deliver the records exercise in a meaningful way. He said even counting how many staff were working on it would distract them from the task. So I'm not going to tell you how many people have put on working on it, because that would distract them. How? How would it distract them? If you've got men and women working on it, then you know how many men and women you've appointed to work on it. And if you know how many, then how would it be to distract them to give us, the public, the number? Cover up, cover up, cover up. Many officials from across the department are involved in roles ranging from supporting the recall of files from various archives to analysing the files. Collating the information on the number of officials involved would take time consuming and detract from those officials delivering the records exercise itself, claimed Mr. Carnes, in answer to a written parliamentary question. No, it would not. You know how many staff you've got working. You know how many you've put on collecting the details. You know. I bet it's nil. But campaigners have pointed out that the ministry is asking the same officials accused of withholding information to now search for it. It's laughable. It is. It's laughable. The inquiry has been headed by the Air Historical Branch, part of the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, tasked with holding RAF archives, which have repeatedly told veterans it cannot trace a blood urine test that they recall having. They can't find them. But we'll look for them again and again and again. We promise you we're looking for them. And there's many of us doing it, but it would distract us if that number of many was disclosed to you. Alan Owen, founder of the campaign group Labrats, said, "A view without money behind it is just there to give the ministers cover. If that's what they're doing, unless there's a budget and a dedicated external team, there is no hope of getting any answers." True. You can't end a 70-year scandal on a shoestring. This is yet another cover-up of the truth, which is that the UK government experimented with radiation on its own people. How many more times are we going to allow our governments? We vote them in with all these promises of helping us and doing good for us, and then once they're in, they become anti-us. And we do it every 4 years, 5 years. Doesn't make sense, people. Doesn't make sense. A 5 billion court case is pending if the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, cannot produce the medical records. But it's understood the review is not looking for them directly. Instead, it is searching through decades of policy documents to see if there has been any minuted decision to hide the files. Officials are being asked to complete the mammoth search on top of their usual tasks, and Mr. Carnes has experienced resistance at his request to hit these deadlines. He has refused to say when the review will be complete. Is it going on? Is it being done correctly? Is it being done systematically? And are they looking in the right places? And are they looking for the right information? It says here they're not looking for the medical records. They're looking for policy documents that minted to hide them. What does that help? So you say, I found a document, said we'll hide them. Now we've got to start again to look for them. Where were they hidden? More delay, 70 years gone. Nobody will be alive to apologise to. He told the Parliament, this is Mr. Carney, at this stage we cannot confirm when the records exercise will be complete. We are not currently certain how many files need to be reviewed, and the content of those files varies significantly over time and between the services. Cover up, cover up, cover up. Fudge, fudge, fudge. Although the average age of surviving veterans is 86, and many of them have waited decades for the truth already, a Ministry of Defence insider insisted the review simply needed more time. If the average age is 86 now, how much more time will they need? He said, all is going about this is a very systematic and serious way. It has logic. It is thorough. although it might not seem direct enough at the moment. No, it doesn't seem direct enough at the moment. It feels as if you're not doing anything at all and just fudging the answers to these veterans who have suffered cancers and deformities of not only themselves but of their children and their grandchildren because of these unofficial, unauthorised, well, they're authorised at the top, but nobody consented at the bottom to being experimented on with radiation, nuclear fallout radiation that affected them all because they were shipped into the area. On ships, they were told to come out with singlets and shorts and stand on deck and shield their eyes with their hands. They were covered in radiation dust from the nuclear fallout of the test bombs, used as guinea pigs, and that's why they're called the lab rats. Testing rats. Laboratory style lab rats. It was a disgrace. It was a crime perpetrated upon our own servicemen, conscripted servicemen, young people, 18 years old, probably the average age, to suffer for the rest of their lives, for their children, when they had children, to be born deformed. Many were not born at all, they died at birth. And they cannot get an admission. 70 years later, cannot get an admission from the government. And the scientists who conducted those experiments are no longer with us. But the results of their experiments are. Please comment. Please comment. Let's hear your comments. Let's hear your support for these lab rats. It's an organisation. I've met them. I met them in 2017, I believe. They were wonderful people. They need your support. They need my support. They need the government's support. They need help. And they deserve compensation. Be with them. Stand by them. Stand by them. Give them strength. Give them encouragement. Give them support. And let's hear your comments. And subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you a penny. Doesn't cost you a cent. Doesn't even cost you a rupee. It's totally free to subscribe. So please, until I see you, I think this is the last one today. This is the second one today. And I don't think we're going to do the third one today. But I'll do another one tomorrow. So until then, be safe, be good, and goodbye from DJ. Bye for